You want to see me bite the lid of this can off?
Yeah.
Look at that.
Look at it. It's kind of
Look
like
at that.
it's honestly beveled.
How the fuck? How are your teeth okay?
Zach, if you finished doing that and blood just poured out of your mouth, that almost would have been worth it.
Stand by for the opening night of the National Television Service.
My brother used to work at Bevmo for a while. And at Bevmo, as you can imagine, you're kind of dispensing a lot. You kind of have to make a lot of questionable sales at the end of the day. Like, you have to give someone the thing that's kind of actively undoing their life in some instances. So you get some Bevmo regulars who are really interesting, he was saying. And there was this one guy who I forget if it happened while he was on shift or if it was a story that he was told, but I'm just going to tell it like he was on shift. So Evan, he's there, and a guy walks into the store and he starts to try to make off with 2 like really expensive bottles of Jose Cuervo, you know, like that like fucking nice tequila. And he's like shoving it in his pocket. He's walking out. He drops one, he gets caught, and then everyone kind of like the security comes over to him and is like, come on, guy, like you can't steal this liquor. And this guy has his like final stand right in the middle of the Bevmo. He's like, I don't care what you're all saying. I don't care. This is my final stand. Come on, everybody. I'm not afraid to take a stand. Everybody. And he was like trying to rile like the Bevmo up to sing with him. He was the only one singing, dog. He was the sole participant in that Eminem sing along. Also, what a wild, like you get to pick one Eminem song to go out to. You pick that one. That's kind of nuts. You know, I think it said a lot about the crowd who likes that song. Kind of some of Eminem's really diehard fans in that way. So yeah, that's it.
I liked it.
That's his final stand.
That's better than all your jokes.
Excuse my reach.
And he's out of here.
Speak, Julian.
Check. 1, 2. Check. 1, 2, 1, 2.
I'm paranoid. I'm sorry. But both of us would much rather check.
Yeah.
And then not be fucked like later. Or everything we do today dictates how good my Monday is.
Happy Memorial. You're going to pay memorial to all of those fallen videos.
You want to see me bite the lid of this can off?
Yeah.
I could bite the lid. I found a new trick. Do you remember in high school when I would turn straws inside out? Like meticulously with my mouth. I'm sure you saw me do that.
No, I remember you doing that. I more remember your trick
Megan
that
looks
lived
grossed
in
out.
people's heads was flicking a bottle cap.
I got really good at that.
You got pretty good at that, man.
I would bully kids. I remember one time I was walking with this kid named Ephraim, and we were walking down the hallway, and there's this dude that I had weight training with. Is it called weight training?
Yeah.
Weight training with. It just, as an adult who's fat, that sounds like a dieting class more so than a weightlifting class.
Hey,
weight
buddy,
training.
gym might be a bit of a challenge for you. Why don't we try weight training? Yeah.
But nonetheless, there was a 6 foot, he was probably 6'2" redhead that was in that class, and he was behind me, and I turned over to Ephraim, and I was like, you want to see me David and Goliath, this dude behind me? And I turned around and right between the eyes. But anyways. It's the best way to...
Oh, you get the ASMR. Get real close. This is me when I go full raccoon mode with that 6-pack. Oh my God. The dentists among you. I'm so sorry. Oh, we're almost going over it a second time just for clarity. Oh, hey, there we go. That's what a rich person does. That's what someone both rich in both emotional and physical wealth does with their time. And look at that, it goes right in the can.
I figured out I could do that the other night.
Yeah, and so I just look over to grab his empty can to clean up dinner, and I'm like, what the fuck?
And from what I hear, you still can't eat pussy, dog. That's sad.
Nah, I can nibble the pussy. Yeah, I could do whatever this is called to your pussy. This is how I treat the clitoris.
Wait, you should really
I think that's
do-
called
I wish you could do a
labiaplasty, Zach.
zoom in. Can you like bring it closer to the camera? The edges are just so fascinating. Look at that.
Look at it. It's kind of
Look
like
at that.
it's honestly beveled.
How the fuck? How are your teeth okay?
Zach, if you finished doing that and blood just poured out of your mouth, that almost would have been worth it.
Well, you know, it's really not that bad. I have to get a paper towel now. Hold on.
For the blood, yeah.
Oh wait, no.
For all of our dentist viewers' tears, yeah, that was brutal to listen to as someone who cares even mildly about teeth, dog.
No,
if that were my passion.
It's really not that bad. There's I was just munching on it because I chew on things, and I figured out once
your
I can make
backpack strap. Like what the fuck?
more like you know that. So like in a water bottle, you crack open the seal. There's that plastic ring that the cap of the water bottle connects to. Mm-hmm. I like munching on that. I'll like weasel it off of the bottle.
Yeah.
But no, I was just fiddling with it like while watching something on Netflix with Megan when we were eating. Now, like I bit and my tooth went through it. And once I realized I could do it once and it didn't hurt, I was like, just like, I wonder if I could just do the whole circle. So I just kept, and yeah, it's almost like you know those old timey can openers that you kind of like puncture one hole.
Yeah, we like thump.
It was basically just that. I'm not really chewing it or biting it. I'm not like rubbing my tooth against anything sharp. I'm just using my tooth to puncture the aluminum siding like 100 times.
Yeah, no, it's like watching
Falls apart.
Picasso paint.
That's my fun trick. I could turn a straw inside out
Oh god.
and I can bite the lid off of a can.
Living with Zachary is like living with a dog. I'm constantly like, what is in your mouth?
Yeah,
what are you chewing
but
on?
Do you take me into grocery
Spit
stores?
that out. No, you actually don't go
You gotta
grocery
stop.
I do yell at people. I
You
do bark.
gotta stop referencing previous episodes
That's
like
fun. Fuck
any
it.
of that viewership carries over, man.
It's just for
it just
PooCrafter.
doesn't. It's just for PooCrafter.
Yeah.
Like, if you
I would reckon there's like 3 people.
And
So
for us,
if there is another non-PooCrafter person who's legitimately watched, fuck it, this episode and then one other episode even for a minute, please, you could make 2 grown adult men would make so much of their recreational time about just you. So you should really consider commenting because this is fucking nuts,
You see that
dog.
photo behind Julian?
Yeah, this could be...
That was just an email.
That was sent to. That was drawn in. I'm assuming one night. No offense, PooCrafter. I'm assuming this was drawn and sent to us within the span of like a single hour, and like
We still have a third drawing.
we've worshipped it like a fucking epitaph. You guys, it's been nuts.
We still have a third one we haven't even looked at yet.
I know. I was actually gonna bring it up at the start of this episode. I thought it might be funny. I'm like, no, that's the type of thing that's like, you're not poking
Do that
joke
deep.
Zach. You're poking like business Zach. Don't want to do that.
It's just a lot of work.
No, yeah.
It's-
well,
so
that's why
it's-
PooCrafter hasn't been watching.
He feels
his
betrayed.
feelings are hurt.
No, I told him a long time ago. I said, listen, PooCrafter, I got your email. It's just a lot. And I haven't gotten around. I've talked about it before.
That was months ago.
It was a long time ago. It was like Levy era.
It was like, no, it's from fucking December, dog. Like, it was
I
got-
say
wild.
we get the Kermit suit on.
We busted
we
out.
print
Next
it out.
episode.
You just be Kermit, I'll be Jason Statham.
Stop. You stop. It's good. I don't like how good it is. Dude, give me some tingles. Can you do some Jason Statham or something?
You wanna be really buff like an action hero like me, mate?
what you got to do is, have you heard of Dwayne The Rock Johnson? You got to go up to him. He's going to be contractually obligated to win a certain number of fights that you're in. You just got to let him do that, right? Because you're Jason Statham. It doesn't matter. I feel like the only funny part is me saying the name Jason Statham. Like, I feel like it's not
like my Kermit the Frog. Just Kermit the Frog.
Jason Statham, right?
Our whole.
We need to think of very nice.
Okay, we can't. You can't go right back into it. We got to talk about anything else.
You Kermit the Frog, right? That it's very nice.
We're like this. We're the one picture. We're the one trick ponies of fucking white podcasters.
No, Zach,
it's just a Borat impression, dude. We should just call this. Should be called the Borat impression show. That'd be such a good podcast. The name of the podcast
we
is
should
just
change it. Like
all we do is Borat impressions.
All we do is Borat impressions. It's mid oral sex and then a Borat impression. That's what you're getting from these two. Other than
How about this, Julian? Instead of doing we just do the other end of the candle and then we do a different show. It's just us doing Borat the whole time.
Everyone. So we just finished up other end. Hope you guys saw that episode. Great episode. Welcome back to our after show. Very nice.
Today we're going to talk about The Black Klansman. It was a very good movie. It is a racist 21 Jump Street.
That was Kylo Ren. Very nice.
Yeah, okay.
No, Sacha Baron Cohen is uniquely
we gotta move
good
on.
at making that voice funny.
Dude, we gotta move on.
No, he has a special talent that no other man alive does, and that's making the Borat voice very funny.
Dude, fuck it. If no one watches this show, if there's no carryover, we don't even have to record these. We can just release the same 5 episodes one after another. We just have the same conversation.
It is like content theft, like self-content theft.
Very nice.
Very nice.
I hate my life. This is so fucking stupid.
Zach, come on. We're about to pass 300 subscribers, which, if I do say so myself, is quite an achievement. That's very nice.
Oh, my God. I have a video idea.
Hit me.
You ever see TikTok live streams of just dudes like riding around a bike in Seattle? What if you want to do a series where we just find the dudes and do something weird on camera?
TikTok live stream interception could be kind of fun, like real life.
I don't know what we do, like
just have someone geo-guesser it and then just run.
No, we could find it. It'd be super easy.
Oh, well, no, yeah, as Seattle.
All we need is one landmark that we track them down.
Oh, shit, he's at the Space Needle, guys.
Dude, do you like that idea? I think that could be fun. We just have to think of something funny to like. I don't know what we'd do once we got there.
It's one of those
jump
ideas.
In front of the camera and be like, very nice.
If you're saying, do I think that the best way to actualize, like, you know, as comedians, we could write and perform jokes and go to a comedy club and do all that stuff. Or we could just find a guy who's already doing his own thing in Seattle, come up, hit him with our killer Borat impressions, and then walk away with a cool 1,000 TikTok subscribers.
Thoughts, Megan?
Oh, I was just thinking about that old man who took a shit on the sidewalk in Seattle.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
I know. That's why I wanted to bring it up to you.
I don't even know. I can't discuss it with the same energy as we did that. I don't remember why we were in Seattle. We were in Seattle for some reason. I don't even know if I want to talk about this.
Was it Macklemore?
We just went to
No.
Seattle for fun.
There's always a reason.
No, remember you took me to the troll store.
Was the reason that you want to get late?
Oh, maybe we were just fucking around. Either way, I don't want. We saw a.
He wanted to take those can biting skills and put them to good use.
We saw a not homeless guy take a shit on the side of the road. But what was interesting about it, well, a few things were interesting about it. The most interesting thing about it to me was that he faced his ass towards the street. And I think that if I were to take a sidewalk shit, I would pick like an alleyway or like at least a doorway, and I would certainly not face the public.
You're an
no, he was doing
man.
it into the shrubbery.
He was doing it into the
Like the
shrubbery,
little
like
tree?
the ivy. There was like a strip of ivy. It's actually quite close to your house, Julian. It's
Well, it better not be next to that patch of ivy where I get all my summer greens from, because that would be really awkward.
But what was fascinating about it was like, well, we pulled up to the light, and I was like talking to Megan, and she was like, "Oh my God, that guy's taking a shit." And the light turned green, and I looked behind me, and there was no one. And I was like, I'm just gonna stay here and watch how this plays out. And I was watching, and he was just out in the open on like a busy ass intersection, ass facing the public, taking a shit into the ivy. And I was like, I have to see. Like, I saw a couple walking towards. I was like, I have to see how these people deal with this guy doing this. So I parked there, and I watched like 3 couples go in his direction, and just I don't think they were avoiding him. They just took them out, gave the man privacy, and like the world just revolved around this man taking a shit on the side of the street, and he had perfect privacy.
I think when you take a shit on the side of the street, you create your own privacy.
Yeah, right. But so he was his ass facing the street, took the shit. I think did he wipe?
He had a walker.
He had a walker.
So he had like a napkin or something.
That he wiped his butt with a little bit.
And then threw it in the bush.
He threw it into the bush, and then he started taking garbage and just throwing it onto, like he just started littering on top of where he took his shit.
An empty water bottle, and
This
some
guy's
paper.
a real smooth operator. That he knew the circuit. This is what I mean.
Thank God the light turned red, so I didn't have to worry having to pull away. I could continue to engage. And he it was so great. Like, he took a shit, and he was like, you know what? You know what's less heinous at this point?
You know what?
Let me just unload my garbage.
I'd
never leave it visible.
You know what you hate to find in your community, in your neighborhood, is litter.
Yeah.
But you know what you really hate to find?
Well, it's like, imagine some good Samaritan like goes around picking up trash.
I'd like to imagine a good Samaritan picks up the trash. A neutral Samaritan kind of displaces the trash into a more aesthetically pleasing pile, discreetly covering up their own pile of human excrement.
But another great thing
when
about
I think about
Hold
this,
on, I'm not done.
Brother, I think we have 17 minutes right now, 17-minute marker. I think this is the rest of the episode, right?
Julian, I looked at Megan and I was like, am I a bad person for like spectating this? I was this illness, but we started evaluating him, and we decided that he couldn't have been homeless, because like homeless people have their lot, like generally speaking. Specifically disabled homeless people, they usually have their stuff with them.
That's how I usually think of it as well. Like but the difference between a panhandler and someone who like needs cash tonight versus someone who needs cash this week.
Exactly. You know? And we Sherlock Holmes'd our way, and maybe this, we Sherlock Holmes'd ourselves into deciding that he was just a normal dude that wasn't going to make it home. And that makes it even wilder to face your ass towards the street. Like, if you're a crazy person, you're a crazy person. This looked like all but this action a normal dude that just full cheek to the street, dropped a deuce, wiped his ass with like a McDonald's napkin, and then dropped all of the garbage in his walker on top of it, and then just strolled off. And I looked at Megan and I was like, this guy just Ocean 11 to shit in the middle of the street. Like, no one saw.
I kind of like the idea that he's not just dropping garbage on top. He's like, there.
Yeah.
Newspaper goes right there. That's going to be your base. Now, upon this bouquet of discarded trash, I'm just going to put this Diet Coke can right here. A few of those, in fact, making a little bouquet of Diet Coke cans.
He's like, hey,
right
why is the top bitten off of this one?
No, what I thought was very funny is like he pulled up his pants. And
No, go for it. The headphones are not helping Julian.
He pulled up his pants, and like other people had been kind of avoiding going down that sidewalk.
I think it was God. I don't
But
think they were
like
avoiding.
this couple of ladies, they just walked right past. They nodded at him.
Yeah, that's it. As soon as
and
his pants
he
got
just
up.
started walking away.
What do you
Just
do to
wandering
like
away.
preserve a mutual dignity? Do you really just look at that guy, like pulled his pants up, avoid eye contact?
No, they didn't see.
They didn't see it.
Like he pulled his pants up,
just-
started walking, and these people walked past. It was like their version of how many serial killers do you think
Yeah,
I've
they're just
walked
like
past in
looking
my
at him
life?
like,
It was like old dude checks out.
oh, yep.
They had no idea.
had no idea what just
had
happened.
just gone on. They just walked past him.
Dude, their
Like,
life was their night was 5 seconds away from being
Normal
way
afternoon,
different.
normal gentleman. Kind of a lot of litter on this section of the street, but you know what? That's just life. Nothing remarkable, nothing to ruin my day.
It made my day. Holy shit.
So this all reminds me of when I was in high school, actually, and I was going out with Madison. And we were driving to Bella Bottega movie theater, just go catch a movie, I think, or just after a movie, something like that. We're driving to Bella Bottega, and a guy pulls up in his van. I should say a guy in his group of friends, like a full ass, like white van. Maybe it was red, but it was, a white van. A white van, but red. And he pulls up. We're at a red light. He's in the left only lane, and we're right next to him. And his friend, whoever's in the passenger seat, leans out of the passenger seat to Madison and I. I wonder if he was flirting with her at the time. And he says, "Hey, have you ever seen someone take a shit out of their car?" And we kind of said, "What?" And then he said, "Have you ever seen someone shit out of their car?" And we both looked at each other like, kind of like, oh, we heard him right, but no, we haven't. And
You responded?
green arrow goes on, left arrow. I think we responded like we literally did. I think, huh? Like,
A third time.
and his left only light goes on, green arrow goes on. They go to take a flying left faster than I've ever seen one of these old piece of shit vans accelerate. As they do this, the side door fucking flies open, and a man is bare cheeking it out the side of the van. I think his friend's holding on to him like Mufasa, and he presumably, I think after we didn't actually get to see him shit out of his car, but man, was he in a posture to do it? Like, yeah, like if anyone was gonna, it was gonna be this guy. So we all have our own, we're all just apes telling each other our own shit stories, right?
Oh man. That's a wild one.
Yeah.
Megan, do you have a shit story to contribute, or you're just with me on the old man bare cheeking it to the street?
When I used to work for the parks department, I once stepped in human feces, and I was really, really mad because it smelled really gross, and I was pissed. And so I went back to the shop and I cleaned my boots, and then I go back to the site, and then I step in a different pile of human feces. And at that point, I just said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna clean the site," because I can't keep going back to the shop and cleaning my boots.
It's
and
like, it's like shit me once, shame
and you
on
can
you,
tell. You can tell if it's
Shit me
dog
twice.
shit. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Human poop smells way different.
I had a
was
similar experience.
disgusting.
We have a job
So
site
mad.
in downtown Seattle, and the first 2 times I went to this site, separate occasions, I stepped in human shit.
That's horrible.
Yeah, I know this is a really privileged thing for me to have done. I just threw the boots away. I was like, I'm not cleaning this. I was like, because here's the thing. Even if I cleaned the shit off of that boot, that's still a boot that once had human shit on it. And I couldn't live with that.
That is seeming more and more reasonable to me. Have a shitless pair of shoes, which is a luxury that I will admit some people in this world, some people you get a little shit on your shoe. That's just, you got some shitty shoes, but
in my brain, I was like,
you had the power to change that with your wallet. So I definitely, I just like imagine you walking like just socks into Timberland. Like, hey guys, can I please get another pair of steel-toed boots?
That was even funny. I took him to a Brown Bear car wash and I pressure washed the fuck. I cleaned them. I like soaked them in like Lysol spray. Like I cleaned these boots and afterwards I still couldn't like pull myself together enough to like wear them into my home. Like I felt like it was like an unscratchable itch. Like I couldn't clean these boots enough because just in my head I was like, it's like, because you got to think like a good work boot has like treads on the bottom. Like it's meant to like grip some shit, literally in this case.
Yeah, no.
And it was
And
like,
things that are grippier are more porous.
I
so-
would have had to have like Q-tipped this thing. Like I was in like, I don't watch enough crime shows, CSI Miami. And I just wasn't willing to accept that the Brown Bear car wash had done enough of a job. So I cleaned them and then fucking threw them away anyways. And then I bought new boots. And then I went back on a different occasion and also stepped in shit. I was pissed the second time.
I was pissed
that's
the
how
second
I
time.
felt.
'Cause
So
you're like,
upset.
I'm gonna gain a reputation at the shoe store soon enough.
Dude, I was
This
like,
happens one more time. This is your last pass.
I almost turned into a Republican. I was so frustrated with poor people. I'm joking. I was trying to lean into the joke. I was serious. I was, dude, I have never been less sympathetic towards homeless people. And I'm very sympathetic towards homeless people. I was pissed that second time. I was so mad because it wasn't even at the site. It was in the parking lot. Like I was walking over to pay a ridiculous amount of money to park in downtown Seattle. Yeah. And I knew as soon as my foot, like I could feel with my toe, because I dragged my feet a little bit, I could feel the resistance of like my shoe dragging through something. And I was like, no way. And I looked down and it was another pile of shit.
How do you? So you and Megan, you both have shit stories from a non-verified pile of shit, where you like the first
I've been
story.
shitting all my life.
You saw that
it was human
It's
shit.
it's obvious.
You can tell.
It's
I've
obvious.
owned dogs most of my life. I've been shitting my entire life. That was a human shit.
I believe that. I feel like we shit big for our size. I feel like we shit. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just the one who's shitting big every time. But I feel like
I think it has less to do with your body size and more of like the size of your small intestine. Is that
no.
right?
I guess I'm more just saying like I feel like you'll see like a 100-pound dog. It doesn't take nearly as much of a shit as a 100-pound human being.
Well, but also like people tend to pick up their dog shit, even if it's on the sidewalk. Good Samaritan. That's another thing that pisses me off about dog owners. Dude, just pick up your dog shit. It's not like a huge burden.
I agree with that. I mean, it's just litter.
I'm sorry. Right now, I'm just mad about the 2 pairs of boots I lost. I'm like reliving the upsetness.
So Zach, question.
Yeah.
You did go and purchase a third new pair of work boots.
Well, I purchased 1 new pair of boots. I already had a second set of boots. Does that make sense? So the first time I was just like, I'm going into the new boots. And then the third time was when I had to go buy with my own money another set of shoes. I'm still pissed about that. I'm like really upset right now.
My grandpa has a homeless guy story. If you want to hear it.
Is it derogatory towards homeless people? Because I'd prefer not.
No.
I feel like we're writing the line pretty
It's
good
not
right now.
derogatory. He just like brought like leftover like sandwiches from like a meeting to a park in Seattle, and one of the guys asked him for a ride, and my grandpa was like, "Sure." And
I
then
think this is the beginning of a Jim Carrey movie. Is this Yes Man? Is
No.
your dad living Yes Man?
this is my grandpa, but no. And then he
Grandpa.
gives the guy a ride, and like as he's leaving, he realized that the guy like pooped and peed his pants
that's rough.
in his car,
Yeah.
and then he had to clean it. And he
That's
said
rough.
he stopped bringing sandwiches to the park.
God, that's one of those situations where it's like, I think about one time I was coming home from the movies with my parents, and there was this group of teens who was like stranded on the side of the road with like no gas or something like that. So my parents took like a bunch of extra time to go and drive back to an ATM, drive to an ATM, because none of them had AAA, and they gave them the money to get AAA to come and tow your car when you don't have a membership.
Wait, they were out of gas?
Like they were, I don't know why their car was stuck on the side of the road. They didn't have the AAA to take it away. And my parents took like a large, like 45 minute detour or something like that to go bring them just cash to give to them. And I remember my dad saying, it sucks being a good person. And I kind of take that to heart in like the little small ways, you know, like it doesn't necessarily feel good. You shouldn't feel like this, like, oh yeah, I'm helping catharsis the whole time, you know? So when I hear that story, I think, oh, it fucking sucks to be a good person, but that's your reward is you get shit in your car.
I think about that a lot in terms of my guilty conscience. My life could be so much better if I just didn't give a fuck. There's so many times that like I could have gained largely if I didn't have this voice in my head that made me feel bad about it.
Do you have a specific example?
Yeah, not that I want to talk about. I'm not going to talk about my psychopathic thoughts. Well, but trying to get me? You're not going to get me.
I'm trying to think if I could.
Those are indoor thoughts. We all have them.
Can I say how you say you wish that you hadn't fallen in love with me?
Yeah, I do. It fucking sucks. I was like legit, Julian. I was like, awesome. 5-year relationship, time to be a hoe. Fucked a chick, and I was like, God damn it, I like her. I was like, fuck. That's exactly how I tell the story to my coworkers too. They're always like, how long have you and your girlfriend been together? I'm like, 2 years. I'm like, how'd you guys meet? I was like, I was trying to get laid. And they're like, huh? I said that to my grandma. I said that to my family. They laughed so hard. It was really funny. Like, how'd you guys meet? And I was trying to get pussy.
Grandma,
and she was cool. So
let me tell you, Grandma, Mama, you didn't raise no quitter, and I wasn't about to quit on getting some fucking poontang. So what I did was I made myself a little Tinder profile, and then old Zachy ended up falling in love. So that's how we met. Pretty cute, isn't it?
Yeah, if we have kids, that's exactly how I'm telling the story. Tell me the story again about how you met Mom. Well, son, we had this device called a cellular phone, and it was essential in order to get pussy that you had one of these. Your mother...
You kind of sound like Jordan Peterson when he said... And it is essential for you to have a
I can do
cellular
2 voices.
telephone to get pussy. And they're very similar.
All of my voices are just different variations of Jordan Peterson and Kermit the Frog.
Jordan Peterson sounds like a fucking deflating balloon.
Yeah, this is treaded land. I've heard a lot of people talk about his voice.
Yeah, no,
so I feel like a fraud doing it
we're
myself.
Not unique, but at the same time, it's like sometimes I think about that. You hear a lot of people talk about things, but it's just like those are people in your circle, in your internet bubble. Like you shouldn't steal someone else's joke, but you, by giving your own spin on something, might give someone a totally new set of information that they didn't have before.
That's
or
fair.
A totally new perspective on a joke they didn't have before.
I guess I'm saying I ain't got shit. I ain't got nothing except my Kermit voice, and that's not that unique. And I have another video idea.
Hit me.
What do you think about making a really long kite? Like seeing how high we could fly a kite.
It sounds
like 1,000 feet.
My brain, I really like things that are scientifically satisfying in that way. So the first thought of my brain is, no, we don't know nearly enough about geometry to actually build a kite that would soar in the sky like we would want it to.
What are you talking about? You just get a normal kite.
So I don't know how you get a kite that high up, but
you just keep letting the string go.
But there's a level, there's a theoretical max level that you can get a kite to, and that does require some understanding of the geometry of a kite and how the wind picks it up and the strength to weight ratio of certain materials and stuff like that. So you asked me what my thoughts are.
Feet. That's 20. This sounds ridiculous. This is what my job has done to me. That's 20 hoses in a row. I think we could run a kite 20 hoses in a row up. We were flying kites with my family. We got like 100 feet easy.
So
I think you just keep letting that bitch unroll. Just
I feel like
till you get
part
to
of that
FAA.
has to be like, yeah, sure. Let's say like 100 feet.
Do you think it's
Wait,
entertaining at all?
I think it's one of those ideas. It's actually the same thing as the last idea where sometimes I feel, yes, so it is entertaining. It's one of those situations where it's like sometimes I feel like the idea that excites you will be an idea that's like, we have to put in a lot of work.
We do. It's just a kite and a string.
We have to put
It's
in
one of my
a
easier
lot
ideas.
more work than just writing a video that we film.
That's
in
way
our
less work than
house.
writing. Writing a script versus ordering some fishing line and a kite on Amazon and then driving to a beach.
We don't talk it. Okay, maybe we need to differentiate who writes what, because for me, writing is much easier than the idea of putting a kite up 1,000
Time
feet.
consuming?
Yes, less time consuming than it would you. So I guess here's the thing. I think about it in the same way that you want like an authenticity. Like you don't want a challenge that people pussy out on halfway through or kind of like a half-ass challenge. You want people to really do it. For me, there's something missing because we're not actually going to go through all of the scientific steps it takes to make the best kite you can. We're just going
We're
to
not
fuck
trying to
around
make the best kite you can. We're just going to see how much string we can add to a kite and like let it. There's nothing. We're not like, who's that guy that did
Like-
Team C's?
Like Mark Rober.
We're not Mark Robering it. We're just like, hey, wouldn't it be funny to like
So
try
we're
to
not
get a kite
fully
1,000
Mark
feet in the air?
Robering it, but it's just one of those things where it's like it's the same thing as like if we were all. It's more unique than a Minecraft speed run, but it has much more unique than a Minecraft speed run. But it has the same core problem where I don't think we're good enough at Minecraft to do that to even start.
Have you ever flown a kite?
So sometimes I feel. Are you just upset that I'm saying I don't like your idea? Like
No, it's not. If you said I don't think it's a good idea, that's fine. But you're saying we're not smart enough to fly a kite.
I don't.
What does that even mean? A 5-year-old flies kites.
I'm not. That's not what I said.
What did you?
Have you
how
ever
did you
flown a
interpret
kite,
that?
Julian?
I've never flown a kite before. No.
Okay, so that I feel like that is attributing to what you're saying.
So you think
It's
is
really easy to fly a kite.
Dude, I had a kite 100 feet in the air, and it was just the string was just. It was like the only reason it didn't keep going was because I wasn't letting it.
This
just,
is one of those situations where I feel like if I were just to remain silent and say "great idea, Zach," I would be proven right by time. So great idea, Zach. Let's do it. I
Why
don't
are you
think
acting that way?
no, because I don't even think you'll get 500 feet in the air. Because I'm saying
I don't know that I'll get 500 feet. We could definitely get 100 feet in the air.
You're saying why? I think I am trying to articulate what I think the problems are. I think the
That
problems
we're not
are
smart enough. What's the problem? You're
we're
saying
not
good enough
we're
at
not
flying a kite.
we're not smart enough to make an interesting point about how to fly a kite that high.
We're not making an interesting
okay.
point. We're making a 3-minute video of, hey, look at, isn't this crazy? Oh, that's the marker for 100 feet. There's the marker for 200 feet. Just it doesn't have to be a whole production.
I think that this is one of those ideas. Like I don't know how many times like, my criticisms are. I don't think we'll get it high enough to be interesting. I think we could write something more interesting and put in the same amount of effort and time. But sure, yeah, if you're paying for that, you want that to be one of our videos, I would have fun with our friends trying to do that.
So you both think that we couldn't fly a kite a few hundred feet in the air,
I don't think we
and
could
you don't
fly
think it
it.
would be interesting. And I'd watch a TikTok of a guy just letting a string.
Why did you say both? I didn't. Are you talking about me?
No, both of the 2 points of one, us not being able to get a kite a few hundred feet in the air, and then the other one of it not being interesting to watch a string just 50 feet, 75 feet.
It's
100 feet.
probably very interesting to watch a string go like just like on a fishing line, right? Just like when someone casting out their line, right? It's like I saw a TikTok of that recently where someone was like threw their line out and the fish goes
Yeah. You're like and the string just like.
It's still cool and satisfying. That's not really the content that we put effort into making. Is cool and satisfying content. That's not really our bag.
I mean, we could
could
just do
be.
whatever we want. It was just an idea. I was flying a kite and I was like, man, it'd be really fun to just let this string go and see how far it gets. And it seemed like it would go pretty far. One of my, I think it was my uncle, said that he got the sheriff called on him one time because his kite went too high and it, like an airplane called
No,
it
that
in.
was Bucky.
That was Bucky. Yeah, someone got a kite too high and they got the sheriff called on him because it was going into airspace. I was like, that sounds, you got to go like to ocean shores where like there aren't like you can't be next to SeaTac.
Maybe it just depends on the day. Maybe that's all you need is just like the wind of the day, and you could take a relatively like innocuous kind of kite.
See how high can a kite fly? You have a Google page to the left of you.
How high can an average kite fly?
I wonder when the string would just fucking snap.
Maybe
I think you'd want to use fishing line, eh?
Well, I would think you'd want to use fishing line. I'd be really surprised if fishing line like snapped before it got to an absolutely ridiculous height, considering
like a tuna fish. You could catch a tuna fish on a fishing line. I feel like, the wind can be strong, but so is a tuna fish.
Well, it's one of those things where it's like, I would honestly say that it's like, I think other materials on the kite are going to break way before any fishing line you get. So it's like the sail is going to rip in half and explode because of the wind pressure before any string you attach to it's going to.
Right. Or I wonder if like the weight of the string would weigh
I
down the
I was
kite.
thinking about that too. I really don't think it would be a weight issue. I mean, I think you're talking about something very large and very heavy that can hold a lot of weight. When you talk about weight issues flying things that high, I think you could I don't want to say easily. I would be surprised if you couldn't run like a full kilometer of fishing line before it still retain a good deal of its strength. I think
That's an interesting point. So I know that when you're rigging something up, the length of a strap, and granted, maybe this is just a situation where like we're using such short lengths that it doesn't matter, but no rigging class I've ever taken has told you to take into account how long the strap is in order to calculate the potential like max load of a piece of rigging. So if you're using a strap
'cause I feel like that's
completely vertically, it doesn't matter if it's 1 foot or 30 feet. It has the same rating. So I'd imagine that's the same case with
what only really applies to like once you're getting really like elevators and like things that are meant to carry a lot of weight and that use very heavy cords to carry it.
No, but I'm just saying, like, if you have a chain that's 1,000 feet tall versus 1 foot tall, is that 1 foot tall? Well, okay, here's an interesting thought. You have to take into account, like, the top part of the strap, the hook that is hooking. I guess the only thing you'd have to take into account is the weight of the strap itself.
Well, it's like, what is it? In a chain, it's much easier to measure because you're measuring what's the, like, strength it takes to break 2 chain links apart. So when it's like when you have just 2 chain links and one of them's attached to a truck, the other one can be attached to quite a lot of material. When one of them's attached to a truck and then 1,000 additional feet of chain, you can have less material attached to it because that 1,000 additional feet of chain is pulling on the same amount. Is bearing weight on the same exact spot, but it's adding its own additional amount of weight. So it's like chain's really great in short length, really bad in long length. Well, in super long length, like we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean,
As you have a strap suspending from something, I feel like it's
this is a silly conversation.
May I
We
interrupt?
should change
Yes.
topic.
You did ask me to look up.
Yeah, do you have an answer? You took a long time to start talking.
I was waiting. I didn't want to interrupt you.
Okay, well, you just came at me with sass, and I'm throwing it back at you.
Oh my God. Anyways, I found how legally high you can fly a kite.
Okay.
500 feet.
Okay, and that's when they say. So that means that dumbasses were flying kites so high that they had to make a rule that you couldn't go above 500 feet.
So the thing that would probably stop you is my guess. There's a certain height where your drone will stop working because it doesn't have enough air. It doesn't have enough buoyancy of air to push up against. So my guess is that it's something similar with a kite, that a kite's theoretical stopping point is when the air above it isn't buoyant enough to push it upwards.
All right.
There's also a note here that says that if you're going to fly like by a military base or by an airspace or whatever, 150 feet is the limit.
Yeah.
I kind of like, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want to fly it by a military base way more. I just kind of want to keep our boys in green on their toes, you know?
And someone else, I'm not sure, this isn't like verified, and I'm not sure if this is true, but it is an interesting point. They say kites won't keep going up because of the weight of the line.
Oh.
They hit a point and they go sideways. You won't have to
Yeah.
worry about hitting clouds because like the reason the question was posted was they were worried about how high they were like allowed to go. But that's a good point. It does kind of start to drift. You know, it doesn't really get as high. It's like far away.
Well, that's a very good point too. You are on a diagonal, so it's like, yeah, you could get a lot of string.
Well,
but
especially like at an ocean. So you're like going over the ocean, you know?
yeah, I definitely see what you mean. How you could let that string go out quite a while and gain no additional height.
I think it's
Yeah, my short answer is if we filmed a video, it would go something like that.
Make a good little clip.
Yeah, you
1,000 feet of
orchestrate
cord.
it. Invite me.
Yeah, sounds like you don't want to go.
I think you're just being a little defensive. I think you're a little sensitive about your idea. Like you asked me,
it's the
what's your
reason
opinion on this
why.
idea? I tried to give you
reason was that we can't
multiple
make it
reasons
interesting
why
enough.
that made. That is your reason for saying no to a lot of my ideas.
I
so when
will agree with you
That's
on
that's
that.
because
That
your
is true.
ideas are like way more elaborate. This is just, hey, dude, let's attach a string to a kite and see how far
I
it goes.
think it is deceptively simplistic, this idea. You say. It's like, hey, let's see how fast we can make a car go. It's like there's more thought you have to put into it than just stepping your foot on the fucking gas, right? You got to think about how a car goes fast.
I mean, not if you're in a Tesla. If you're in a Tesla, lots of people make videos about a Tesla just woo. It's not like overthought or anything. It's just, hey, if you've ever
It's
been in a Tesla
certainly not.
when we step on the pedal.
Yeah, I feel the same way about this idea that you feel about a lot of my ideas.
Okay. Do you agree that your ideas are way more complicated?
Give me an
Or
idea.
no? The Santa Claus video.
Oh, it was way more complicated, but that was partly because you came to me saying you wanted to film kind of like a balls to the wall sort of video, so I just wrote to write.
I don't remember enough. I feel like I'm arguing with Megan. I don't remember.
Asshole.
The most honest answer in most arguments is I don't remember.
Megan, to me, that means you're right.
That's funny. I like that.
I liked this joke because I was right.
Yeah, right. I like that drawing idea because I got the right answer.
I like that drawing idea, man.
Yeah.
It's a good idea.
Do you want me to go to one of my topics? You want to go to
Hit me with one of your topics.
Oh, I mean, you're just gonna say that this is something I shouldn't let bother me, but I think highway crosses are fucking silly. I think it's weird to like mark the place that someone crashed their car. And it's not even necessarily the place that they died. Like a lot of the times you crash and then you die on the way to the hospital.
They should put it like halfway through. Like
They need
should
to
put
figure
the
out
crash
where-
site, kind of give you like markers, like 30 BPM, 15 BPM.
Like
Dunzo.
there should be more street crosses the closer you are to a hospital.
So if I talk about this idea with you for like a full 10 or 15 minutes and then conclude in saying that it shouldn't bother you, does that count as shutting you down?
I don't think you're shutting me down. I think that I think there's
I think you're asking me if my favorite color's blue, and I'm saying no, it's green, and you're saying, well, that's what reason is it green? That's a stupid reason.
you could tell me why you think it's silly.
I'm
Or
trying.
no, you could tell me why you don't think it's silly.
I like green because it has a lot of yellow in it.
No, I'm
You're
talking about
saying
the cross idea.
I think
This is what happens when we film for 4 hours. We start bickering like an old couple.
What do you think the cross is there for? What is it? What is its purpose to you? What do you think people do it for?
To help the family mourn.
No other reason that you can think of?
No. Oh, to stop other people from speeding.
Maybe warning people that someone died.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Because I do it. That does.
Sometimes it's not at like a dangerous spot though.
Well, but it's one
if
of those
it was
things,
on like a sketchy corner, then it's like, oh shit, you know.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
Sometimes it's just like on the street.
Like I see it on 148th. 148th by all the like the Microsoft campuses and stuff like that. When you're driving between Redmond and Bellevue on 148th, I see like 3 or 4. There are a bunch of memorial signs right there, and I think it's interesting because it's like. I feel like that's one of those situations where people are more driving because it's like a straightaway. It's just a more dangerous place to be. It's not like, what is it? Like, I feel like most people would think that type of accident's happening on the highway, but it is probably from people like crossing in the dead of night or the combination of someone speeding and drunk and someone jaywalking or something like that.
I wasn't even thinking about a walker.
A unique danger. It could, yeah, that's the other thing. I feel like sometimes it's a walker who got hit by a drunk driver.
In my brain, I just assumed it was the driver. How long should those crosses be able to stay up?
As long as the family's taking care of them. They're memorials. They're not paid for by the government.
Yeah, but like,
how long should the levee men cucumber stickers be able to stay up? And then I don't know,
until someone takes it down.
I guess then that's your answer.
Most of the time. Until someone takes it down, that's horrible.
And you could be that guy. Okay, so
I could be that
you
guy.
think that's horrible. You think that's horrible, but you're just going to lobby against it through capitalism and just be like, yeah, I think you're going to
capitalism. Hold on, bro. Relax.
Our system,
relax, bro. You're going to lobby against it with capitalism. Chill. No one has said anything about capitalism, bro.
You have such an annoying, mean fucking laugh.
Oh my God.
The way that
we've been filming for too long.
The way that you
1 in the morning.
I'm gonna go off on this because imagine you're talking to your friend, right? Your buddy of 20 plus fucking years, and you give him a sincere idea
about flying a kite,
and he goes.
Imagine dating him.
It's disheartening, right?
So hard.
Bro, what did I say have anything to do with capitalism? That was just such a funny thing to say.
You're just trying to bring it back to your playing field.
What are you talking about?
No, I mean like so you are.
I'm the one that's
so you think taking it down yourself with your own hands is a point. And yes, I misuse the word capitalism if that's what you're gonna harp on. If you think taking it down with your own hands is unpalatable. But you would just vote in a community center to have a paid officer take it down with their hands?
No.
Feels like the same end.
No, I just wouldn't want to do it for one of my family members. Yeah.
You don't have to do it.
I'm just saying it's weird.
No one's making you do it.
I think it's a weird thing to do. I wouldn't want someone to do it for me. I wouldn't do it for one of my family.
Yeah,
it's called a grave.
No,
it's called a grave.
Sympathy.
Oh, yeah,
I swear
it's
to
spread
God.
the ashes. I'm just saying I cannot, in my brain, I would not want a cross with my photo on it. Like, hey,
you're not religious.
Look at where this dumbass died. like this guy couldn't handle his boot. Like, you know what I mean? Like
you don't believe
my uncle,
in God.
My uncle died on 132nd drunk driving, right?
Yeah.
I think it'd be weird to like every day I drive past there and I'm like, oh, that's where which I kind of do already.
You already do that.
Yeah, but I'm not putting up a sign.
I know exactly where he died because your mother does it too.
Yeah, dude, it's hard not to think about it.
You're kind of putting up a sign to whoever's
there.
in the fucking car with you, man. You're kind of putting up a metaphorical sign to your passenger.
Your mom told me you found a piece.
Yeah, well, I don't know what it was. It was something bloody. It was like
every time we go down that hill, she tells me that story.
Yeah, my mom's just like that, though. That's just my mom being my mom. That's not like unique to that. You go around Seattle, she has a story for every block that you're on.
I've never heard this story before. I'm gonna, you know what? Maybe we should all just give.
You've heard that.
I've never heard that you found what Megan is describing as a piece of.
It was
relatives.
I couldn't tell you what it was. It could have not been. It just looked
I feel like
it.
I honestly,
in the grass.
In the era where we were like the best of friends, I feel like you might have been a little more secretive about something like that. I feel like, or just played it close to the vest.
about a lot of things.
No, but you tend to play it close to the vest in general.
Junior high.
I remember one time, unless you told Isan all of this, because I don't know if Isan's just more trustworthy than me, but unless you told Isan all of this.
More comfortable being vulnerable around him, yeah. I think you'd say the same thing about me. We're not the easiest people to be vulnerable around, Julian. I don't think you would argue against that.
I just resent being put in your camp. Like, we're not the easiest people to be vulnerable around. True. I feel like it's like Zach isn't the easiest to be vulnerable around, and then Julian also isn't the easiest to be vulnerable around, and then here's Isan.
I think it's entirely unique to different people's relationships. I think that's the relationship we have with each other. I'm saying that I think we both have a more vulnerable relationship with Isan.
Think that
because I think
be
that
the case.
I think Megan can be super vulnerable with me. My mom can be super vulnerable with me. It's entirely your relationship with
I
the
would
person.
say that I'm not actually sure if I have that vulnerable of a relationship with these. Like, I feel like Isan.
I'm not saying I do either. I'm just saying
no. I guess I'm just over.
Relationship.
I guess I'm overthinking. Like, no, I would say that I honestly would confide more in like. Really, mostly confide in like Lily or something like that.
Well, sure, of course. I'm just saying in a world where it's me or Isan or you and Isan.
No, but I'm saying that would be a difficult choice for me because.
Well, good for you. Maybe I shouldn't speak.
No,
to you.
no. But I guess it's just sometimes Isan is more sanctimonious about things, you're not going to be that. But also sometimes I want Isan to be more like intellectually critical of something, and he's a little more scientific, methody, as where I think you're a little more normative in how you think.
Wait, say that.
I think Isan, when he criticizes something, criticizes it in a way that makes more sense to me as through like a methodology, as where I feel like sometimes you go with your gut feeling and announce your gut feeling to the room. Not like you don't think about things, but I feel like you tend to have this like, oh, this is how I reacted to that situation. So it is at least in part the truth. As where I feel like Isan will tend to distance himself whenever he's asked to analyze something. Which I tend to do as well, so I think it speaks more to me personally.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm just more impulsive than Isan is. I think we all have knee-jerk reactions. I'm just impulsive, so I vocalize it.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Thoughts, Megan?
6.
I don't know. You're kind of mean. You're kind of mean to people.
You say mean shit too.
We're all kind of mean people.
You called me fat the other day.
One of us is like the rat king of mean people.
Yeah, but you meant it.
Yeah, because I was really mad at you. I was really mad. I was going off.
When I say things, I'm joking
like,
half the time.
And you're fat.
You're like, and you're fat, dude. It was so funny. It was the funniest one-liner. I was like, you can be honest with me. Just tell me the truth. And she like went on a rant. And then after she's like, and you're fat. Oh, that's so good. I love you.
I love you too.
And it all worked out in the end, right?
So far, we'll see.
We'll see. Hey, if not,
so there's always another Monday. No, I'm kidding.
PooCrafter, we always need a switcher if AI doesn't get there first. All right.
Julian's gunning for me today.
Julian wants no one in the room.
If it were just, oh my God, Zach.
Just the bird.
If you could take this studio space and the bird and the lighting and just remove you two from it, I'd be so happy.
Yeah, right. Just Julian and the bird.
That sounds like a really TV show.
Blood back up.
It's Rick and 2 crows. Julian and 2 parrots. You should do a podcast with your lizard. I didn't know you had a lizard, by the way.
I do have a lizard. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, cool. Lily has a terrarium. And I was like, holy shit, it's a fucking lizard.
Yeah.
So there blew my mind.
Yeah, I got a leopard gecko. I'll bring Nora over.
It's really pretty.
Really pretty. Yeah. No, we picked out. She got like nice like orange and purple and stuff. It was Lily really did a lot of research into like finding like a breeder and stuff to get that leopard gecko.
How much was the gecko?
Not very much. Like gecko was like $80 or something like that. It's more about. I mean, maybe 80, 120.
Not making a lot of money.
Like it's
that
not.
Breeder's not bringing.
No, it's more
bucks.
big gecko supply that's making a lot of money. It's like the lights and the heating pad and the tank and everything.
Oh, okay.
Like, cheap ass animal to fucking feed though. Oh my God, you buy 1 container of mealworms, keep them in the fridge, it'll last it like over half a month easily, and it costs like $2 or something.
Don't stop, we go straight to the top. Don't stop, we go straight to the top. I am that dude. I am that dude. I am that dude. I am that dude. I am that. Don't stop, we go straight to the top. Don't stop, we go straight to the top. And we all going together.